Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Elevate Your Life podcast. I am super excited about today's podcast, Cheryl.
Oh, listen, nothing like it. I really am too. It's all about measuring and keeping track of what we've been doing this whole year and looking back on it.
Yes, yes. So it just seems like yesterday that we made this, we made a course up
Yeah.
and we did this planning your goal setting seminar for 2024.
Yep.
And here we are. We said at the end of the year, we'd go back and look at that and review. So this is we're getting towards the end of 2024 here. We did this long 100-day challenge, finish strong challenge that's been going on as well. For those of you that kind of forgot about the goals you set at the beginning of the year, there's always that last 100 days you can kick it in and accomplish some things. So that always works well for me, at least. But it's really about now taking the time to look back at the year and reviewing. So we have this system that we use here at the Elevate Your Life podcast, and it's a system to help you improve your life by 1% every day. And the system is plan to review. So at the beginning of the year, we had a plan. Came up with this plan. This is what we're going to do this year. These are the results that we want to produce. This is why we want to do it. This is how we're going to do it. So we got all that set, and then we did it. Here we are. Boom. 365 days later, we're now reviewing what happened. So we did it, and then it's review. So it's plan to review. And we're in the review section now, Cheryl.
Yes, the review, looking back and seeing what went great, what didn't go so well, and what changes we can make.
Absolutely. We want to do this for Elevate all 8 areas of your life. So there's a reason why there's an 8 at the end of Elevate, because there's 8 areas. And we're literally going to look back at all 8 of them and kind of put them into a category. So was that area a celebration, or was that area more of a challenge in 2024? And then once we identify what that was and why it was that way, we can go into making some changes, which is really what this is about. So this review is not just about reflection on 2024, which in itself is good, but what we want to do really is make 2025 better, elevate, so that it's better than 2024. And we're not going to do that unless we review on what went well and what didn't go so well and what changes we're going to make in 2025. So
right.
Let's start with nature.
Well, it doesn't work to wing it. Let's just say that.
No.
And we always talk about, making sure that we're designing the life that we want instead of just default, which I did forever. I was just like the default gal. It's like, well, whatever happens, happens. And, on we go. And this too shall pass, like my dad used to say, right? And that's kind of how I live my life. So this is kind of a whole brand new concept for me over the last few years, just like really saying, hey, this is what I want. These are the results I want, which I think really is one of the most important things you can do, is really have the result that you want. And then, of course, the plan, how to get there, and then the do, right? So the do is I think the hard part sometimes for a lot of us.
It is. And you even said before we even shot this podcast that you had a plan at times back in your life and you did it and it didn't work out so well. So You're just like, hey, I'm not going to live by design because that didn't work. So we can all point to things, whether it be building a business or weight loss or whatever it was in life that you wanted to design.
Right.
We've all had instances where it didn't quite work out because we didn't review and make changes along the way.
Right.
So, and I know you know women, especially women, I'm sure guys too, that have actually given up setting goals or results because they've failed so many times at it.
Right.
Just like, I don't want to feel bad anymore, so I'm not going to set it.
Yeah. Why do it? I mean, the year's going to come and go anyway. So why set a goal that I, in the past, have never been able to accomplish, or I didn't quite, accomplish it, and I tried hard, but it didn't happen, and I let myself down. So just why even do it now? Right? That's the way people are thinking. But I love, Paul, that that this is a little more specific for people, which I love, because if you just tell me, oh, Cheryl, set some goals, I'd be like, what? But we have the 8 areas of life. And so it's super easy just to set 2 or 3 goals in each area of life and then be able to work on it like that, right? So I love that about this program that we're doing.
Absolutely. And for those of you that are like, nah, I think I'm going to skip this podcast. I've heard enough and this doesn't really sound good to me, which I know, Cheryl, back when we first kind of got together and started doing this, you're like, yeah, I'm not really big in this review idea. You could do that, Paul, but I'm gonna go right back to do, because you were the doer, in the group here.
Right. Yes, that's true.
So the whole thing starts with the first area of life is state. So we're talking about emotional state. So if you're not in the right emotional state, let's just end this conversation now, because you'll never do what you need to do if you're in a bad state. So that's why we talk about this first. This is why Tony Robbins talked about being in state first, because everything is state dependent. You can improve, elevate your mind, your body, your business, your relationships, your finances, your lifestyle. You can't elevate any of it unless you're in the right emotional state.
Right.
So talk to us about this, Cheryl. And I know this is something in your life. You're like, I gotta be in a great state. And what is state? What does that even mean?
Well, I think that it just has, first of all, I believe we're choosing whatever state we're in, right? So you've got to, you have to like.
No, but Cheryl, you don't understand. Like this person really pissed me off today. So they did that to me. It wasn't like I did that. They did it to me.
Well, you're right, but you get to choose how you feel. Okay, I feel about that. So you get to choose the emotion you have, right? Which when people say that to me, I'm like, oh, I don't even want to hear that. Okay, so it wasn't me. It was that driver. It wasn't me. It was the driver in front of me going 30 miles an hour when it's in a 50. Okay. Now that's why I'm so angry, right? I mean, no, I'm really working on that. But we do, first of all, we get to choose. And your state has everything to do with energy. So it's all about the energy. And I love this whole idea that our energy comes from our thoughts. The way we're thinking, what we're thinking. We have 65,000 thoughts a day, ladies. So I'm just hoping and praying that a lot of them are good thoughts, because if they're not, then your emotions are not going to be good either, right? Your state is not going to be good. And then also movement, which I think that's why it's so funny. We always talk so much about exercise for the body and physical stuff and everything, but really, I think it has everything to do also with emotion and energy and everything. Just getting moving is just going to get you in a better state.
Yeah, absolutely. So we start with state. So we got to decide now and this is kind of like self-reflection. And if you're having a tough time with this one, especially this one, you should go ask a couple friends of yours, your spouse, your children, and ask them, would you say my emotional state this year, on the average, was more of a celebration or a challenge for all of you? And they'll be able to help you answer this question extremely fast. Right, Cheryl?
Yeah, absolutely. They'll know. Even if you don't want to know, they know.
Right. Yeah, but this is something I'm like super aware of all the time. I think, Cheryl, this is, I remember asking your mom this, like, is she always this happy and, energetic? And she's like, yeah, like she's been this way since she was born. Like some people are just like that, not a lot. I haven't met a lot of people like Cheryl, but there's enough out there that are like, don't have a problem with this. They're just naturally high energy, great emotions.
Yeah.
People like me, we got to work at it a little bit more. This is something that over the years, I'm always like, boy, I wish I could feel like I think that person feels, and have the energy that they have. So this is something that's not just like you're born with, either you have it or you don't. It's something you can work on. And I worked on it over the years, and now I'm a super high energy person. But I wired myself to become that way. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to think these thoughts. I'm going to move. I'm going to listen to this music and be conscious of this 24/7. And you can get to a place that you can put this into the celebration column. So for me, this is a huge celebration for me, because I remember meeting Tony Robbins and talking with him and him asking you, where's your emotional home? And my emotional home for the longest time we came to the conclusion that it was overwhelm. But, when he asked me like, well, who makes up your schedule? Well, I do. Who makes up your to-do list? Like Cheryl's always like Cheryl's like, how many people, what do we got to do today? I'm like, oh, we got like 200 things to do today. And she's like, what are you, crazy? Like, so I'm doing this to myself. Like I'm making these massive to-do lists up and project lists. And these are all the things we got to do. And I'm putting this enormous pressure on myself all the time. So of course I feel overwhelmed, but I'm doing it to myself, and we're all doing it to ourselves. So
I'm not. I don't have a list like that.
No wonder Cheryl's so happy and has all this energy. It's because she has no project or to-do list at all.
That's exactly right. I don't. But I
So,
should. I'm not saying don't do that because I think
yeah.
you do need a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Well, now we do have it, but I keep track of it more. And
I don't want to see it.
there's
Don't scare me.
So you got to decide for yourself: is this a celebration or a challenge? And for you, Shayla, I'm going to assume a celebration, just because you're that kind of person that I'm going to be in a good emotional place no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right.
Not that you don't have your moments with traffic.
Oh no, I know I do.
And triggers, but for the most part,
and all sorts of other things.
In a great state.
Yeah, absolutely. So number one then is is our emotional state. So we just need to make sure, and decide, just like Paul said, if that is a challenge or a celebration, and think about that. Okay, so now number two is your mind. So is what's going on in your mind a celebration or a challenge? And
we would say a lot of people would say challenge, right? With these 65,000 thoughts being 80% negative.
Well, that's right. That's right. And the only way they're not going to be like that is if you become aware and then you literally fix that. You are the one that has to go in and work on yourself. And there's a couple of ways that we always talk about, like personal growth. That's a big one. That's gonna seriously help. Also meditation, super important. Just becoming aware really that you're having these bad thoughts, because Paul, I think a lot of times it's subconscious.
Yep.
And you don't even realize it.
That's a pattern you got yourself into.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And then something that really helps is journaling. Also, so those are just three of the things that you can do, but just think about that for right now. Think about, has your mind this last year, reviewing, just think about it. Has it been more of a challenge or a celebration?
Yep. Super good. Next is body. So mine's a little bit harder to figure out, like, okay, am I going to, but a lot of people are, and it's okay to, call that a challenge. I'm sure there's things in all these areas though, and it's important to do to point out the celebrations, because we don't want to just put everything into challenges here and wire our mind that there's nothing but challenges in life, because we have celebrations too. We've had times where we felt really good, or we thought really good thoughts, but this is an area, Cheryl, that we specialize in. This is like really my cornerstone, our cornerstone thing that we focus on is body. So this is a huge celebration for me. I know for you too, like this is constantly something we're focusing on and improving. You are your health. Your health is super, super important. As we get older, it becomes even more important to really be intentional about. So what you're eating, the supplements you're taking, the exercise you're doing, the water you're drinking, the sleep you get, the quality of that, all those things are super, super important. And either that was a win for you, like, man, the area of my physical body and physical health improved this year, elevated, or not so much. So that's just, you got to put in one or two columns, and maybe some things got better and some things didn't. So you can, but it's important to decide this and decide what was celebration and what was a challenge in this area of life.
Yep, that's awesome, Paul. And I love that we have the health score too that we can get, so that we know. And then if that's going up, then you're automatically gonna know that that's a celebration. And it gives you like little celebrations throughout the year, which I love.
So you've had some both sides of the coin in this body thing. So I know you played a ton of tennis in 2024. So that was great. We're doing the X3 workout, which I celebration.
Absolutely love the X3 workout. Like, it is, I don't know, I think, and I've been lifting weights a long time, and it is like the coolest thing ever. Not only is it super fast, but it hits it really hard and good, but it's fast. So you're not spending like so much time in just that one area of lifting weights. So I love it.
Yeah. So is this been you put this in the celebration column for you or the challenge column?
I'm gonna say celebration.
Yeah.
I think it's a celebration for me. Yeah. All right, spirit is our next one. Spirit. So that is, and just think about that. Like, do you feel closer to whatever you call source, God, whatever it is? Do you feel closer? Do you feel in tune? Do you feel at peace? Do you feel really good about really, I would have to say, Paul, that it's really, do you feel good inside of yourself? Like, that's really where I think it all starts, like that peace and that you're feeling fulfilled and you're contributing, you're being of service, you're doing all of these different things. And that's where I really look to see if I was able to do that, then it would be, it wouldn't go in it wouldn't be a challenge, right? It would just be really a celebration.
Yeah. I know this is huge for you. This is something that you're like another cornerstone for you is having this spiritual area of your life rock solid.
Absolutely. I think it's so important and I think it's important for everybody, even if you don't really even realize that it's important for you. It really is important to feel that connection, and also feel that peace inside of yourself.
Yeah. Super, super important and great. Awesome.
Yes. So the next one is
Number 5.
Career. Number 5 is career. How is your career? Is that a celebration or a challenge?
Yep. We're specifically talking about 2024. So whatever it was, like, well, my career, these parts of my career is going good, but maybe this part's not going so good. So you got to get clear on what the celebrations and challenges are in it. But, I guess I think there's 2 parts to career, in my opinion, Cheryl. There's the success. And a lot of times we attribute success to income, how well business is doing, profitability. But there's also this other side of fulfillment. Do we really feel like we're helping, other people? And has to be weighed in just as much as successes. As a matter of fact, Tony teaches us that the ultimate failure is success without fulfillment. So we want to have both sides to that, where we're not just only successful, but also feeling like we're contributing to the world. And this is why we do these Elev8 podcasts, why we do the Elev8 course and the Institute of Holistic Health. All these things make us feel fulfilled because we're helping thousands and thousands of people by doing it.
Absolutely. I love that. Love that. Love that. Okay. Number 6 is financial. So, and the way I like to look at this, Paul, is just like, where's my credit score? How much do I have in savings? Have I been able to save anything? And then also any investments that I have and how those are going. And so really it's not hard on a couple of these to really just look at those different things and just know, yes, that's a challenge and something that I want to work on in 2025, or no, it's great. In fact, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Right. So just knowing.
My biggest challenge is Bitcoin, Cheryl. I didn't get involved in Apple when Apple was Apple. I didn't get involved in Google when Google started. And this Bitcoin thing, I've been back and forth with a lot of my friends. A lot of our friends are in it. And then, but your positive things, your negative things, and just, man, it's to see that where it's at right now. It's like a big challenge for me.
I know. I just
more money on that.
Yeah. Well, and I'll just give you a statistic. So I was looking at this a couple of days ago, and they said if you would have put $1,000 into Apple back when it started, it would be worth 2.5 million today.
Yeah.
So you might want to buy a Bitcoin or whatever it is.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a deep breath in that, because
yeah.
My crystal ball is not working well. Like, I need a new crystal ball for Christmas, Cheryl. If you're thinking about
what
to get me,
I think it's a little cloudy.
Yeah.
A little cloudy, Paul. A little cloudy. Okay, so number 7 on that beautiful note. Relationships. How are your relationships? And are the relationships in your life, are they celebrations or are they challenges? And I think, Paul, it's so funny because I think the older you get, the less you want to have relationships in your life that that are drama filled and crazy, and you're just a lot less willing to put up with a lot, I guess, is
I feel
all
like
I'm
you're
saying.
speaking from some personal experience, Cheryl. I don't know.
Well, I'm just
Maybe I'm
saying,
reading into this too much, but
no, I'm just saying I think it's super important just to really, love the relationships in your life. And that could be your marriage, your, anybody in your family, and then also friends. And I always think it's so sad when people have so much anxiety and fear and challenges, if you will, around the holidays. I
yeah,
just think that's so sad. I'm like, they're supposed to be like the best time or whatever. And I understand that they're not, and
yeah,
that it's hard for so many, but really just looking at that. And then the great thing about this whole thing, Paul, that we're doing is that if you have a challenge in any of these areas, it like brings your attention to it and you
yeah.
become aware of it, and then you can work on it in 2025. That's it. We're not saying anything's bad or wrong. Absolutely not. Just the opposite. And I used to think reviewing was like, just don't do it because I don't want to see any of the challenges. Like, I
Right,
don't want to see that. I just
right,
want to think it all is great.
right,
Like, that's all I want to see. But if you don't become aware of you know, that you're struggling with something or having a challenge in one of the areas of life, how are you ever going to fix it? You're not. It's
yeah,
never going to get fixed. You're just going to push it under the rug or whatever you want to call it.
yep.
But it won't be fixed, and it'll continue to be a challenge and a struggle. And I honestly believe that every time you have a challenge in any area, it's there for you to learn and to grow.
To grow, yep. You can't grow
Yeah.
without them.
No, and you're not, I wish we could,
I know.
because that would be like so much easier. Just saying, it would be so fantastic. But okay, number 8, Paul, is lifestyle. Lifestyle.
Yeah, so you can put this in the celebrations. Now, hopefully, there's some celebrations. You had some fun times in your lifestyle and some wins in there. Some great trips you took, hopefully, and then maybe some challenges and things you didn't do. We want to talk about all kinds of areas of your lifestyle, so or parts to it. So there's your daily life. If that is just like I hate, there's people in that whole or rat race thing where they're getting up and like I don't like the thing I can't get my head around is people who drive to work every day for like an hour and a half and are in traffic. Like traffic and me do not get along. I know it's a trigger for you too, so I don't even get in a car. So how I avoid that whole thing. And the reason why I work from home and run this business is because I don't want to have that lifestyle of spending all this time in traffic and getting to a place and having to come home and fight all that every single day. So if your daily schedule is something that is just bothering you to no end, like it did for me, then maybe that's a place you need to make a change, or just things that, maybe you bought a lot of cool things this year. You did, we weren't able to, or there's things you wanted to do, but you couldn't do, or you did do. Trips you took would be, celebrations, or maybe some trips were some challenges for some people. So it's just getting a handle on this lifestyle thing and saying, what are some celebrations there? What are some challenges? And we're all getting to this next part, Cheryl, which is we're going to make some changes. That's really, really what we want to get to with this. It's not, again, just about reflection on 2024, but it's about coming up with a plan to make 2025 better. We're all about elevate. So now we're going to talk about changes. So we're looking back at all the challenges we had in 2024 and realizing that it is what it is. Hey, listen, you're not at the weight you want. There's no reason to get upset or all bent out of shape about it, or you're in a bad financial place or bad health place or bad spiritual place or bad whatever place. It's okay.
Yep.
It's all part of life. The thing of it is now we need to make a choice. The choice to change. And what are those changes going to be? So let's go back through these 8 areas and talk about some changes we can make, Cheryl, to each of these areas to move forward in 2025.
Right. So with state, we already talked a little bit about that. You can move more. You can listen to great music. That will help. Music, movement. Um, you know, I think, and I know, Paul, you talk a little bit about like jumping on your trampoline. So that's like your little trampoline. So that's something great. But I think for me, the number one thing that I'm really going to focus on this next year is really my thoughts. and understanding what my thoughts are and really becoming aware if I'm having bad thoughts. And if I am, stop the bad thought and really redirect. And we call it worm, but, interrupt and then start, the mantra or these good mantras, or even saying something that you're grateful for, anything like that,
Yes.
to redirect your mind and rewire to be thinking great thoughts. Because I think that above all other things, for me, is the most helpful,
Yes.
right? Is just making sure that you're thinking great thoughts all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I love what you say, Cheryl, all the time, which is awareness. I just think awareness alone to me,
Oh,
like so I literally have a sheet of paper that I have printed off for the day. And you can get all this stuff in our Elevate Your Life course we're coming out with here in the beginning of 2025, which I'm super excited about. But it's being intentional about this and me being aware of, okay, it's 9 a.m. Where's my state at right now? I want to be aware of it. Because if I'm aware that it's at an 8, then I know what to do to get to it back to a 10. But I think we go through the day not really paying attention to it. And then it really, kind of making or breaking us um, by not making adjustments to it. So again, I think
right.
I love your word awareness, and just being aware of where it's at is enough to hopefully spring you into action toward to changing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's absolutely right. And I love that. So you guys just come up with a couple of things that you can do, a couple of changes that you can make for yourself for this next year. And then that's also gonna give you like small goals that you can work towards too, which I love, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
really deciding, hey, I'm gonna work on my thoughts, I'm gonna work on my mantras, I'm gonna work on, and that you're just gonna really work on getting your state to a great state. Because once you do that, I think, Paul, it's so much easier on all these other things. Certainly for your mind, it's going to be much easier if you're in a great state. Some
Same thing
things
with
that,
body. You got to be in a great state to help your body. If you're just like, this sucks and I hate working out and I hate eating good and all that, you're just not going to be successful.
yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So, and you can just, so mind, body, spirit, the same way. I mean, I like to just say, you know what, I'm going to spend a little time in scripture. I'm going to read my scriptures. I'm going to, I don't know. I have like a couple of other little books that I read out of. So just something like that, you start, of course, becoming aware, but then choosing a couple of things that will work for you in the area of spirit and in the area of body and also in the area of mind, all of them, right?
Yep, all these career, what changes are you going to make your career even better? Financially, you're going to, work on your credit score. You're going to work on saving more, investing more. What are the changes you're going to make there? And it's so important to take the time to write these things down, because this has to be something you go back to every day. I think this is a big change I'm going to make, is just being more, doing this exercise once right now is great, but you got to reread it every day, or at least once a week, and go back to it and say, what are these changes I'm focusing on making? I said I was going to make these changes. Now, am I really making them? And we're going to be back here a year from now. I don't think your life isn't going anywhere. But we're going to come back here a year from now and say, listen, if there was this time on December 23rd, 2024, you said, I'm going to make these changes. Did you make them? Did you make those financial changes? Did you make those changes in your relationships? Is your marriage better or worse? Is your family relationships better or worse? Or your friend relationships better or worse? So we got to go through all 8 areas again, and your lifestyle too. And I love really spending some time, Cheryl. I know we plan out vacations, so what are the vacations you want to take in 2025? And where do you want to go? Start dreaming a little bit and planning out those times and getting those in the calendar, and really planning out how your lifestyle is going to look. And my lifestyle is not only a yearly, how my year is going to look. And I love to take like breaks at the end of every quarter. So like 4 different breaks we take every year, but also what my ideal week looks like, what my ideal day looks like being intentional and drawing that out on if I have my ideal day, what would it look like? And so we've drawn this out, and then it's doing it, sticking to it and living that way. But it starts with the plan, and then it's do, and then it's review. So let's go over some great questions as we roll this out, Cheryl, to ask yourself right now during this review session.
Yeah, I love this. So the first one is, what were my biggest achievements this year? And how important, because you know what, you guys could have like a ton of great achievements. And what do? We think of the only thing we didn't accomplish, right? Ooh,
Right.
oh, I had 9 great achievements, but let me tell you something, I did not get that one thing done. And, so no,
Yeah.
we want to really just, we want to celebrate a little bit when we have these celebrations.
Mhm.
Number 2, which goals did I not reach and why? And Paul, one of my favorite things to say whenever we're doing this, and when you're like, Cheryl, well, why didn't you reach that goal? What do I say all the time? I don't know. Okay,
Right.
well, if you did know, what? So you guys don't let yourself get away with I don't know, because you do know. It just might not be something you want to talk
Right.
about
Right.
or whatever, right? So just make sure that you're answering those questions, because again, it's awareness, and just figure out why. What new habits served you well, right? What new habits do you have that served you really well? Um, and then what habits held you back?
It's a good one.
Because yeah, and think about that. Like, what they are. I think it's funny that a lot of times we're like, well, I'm not really sure. Yeah, we know. We know when you watch Netflix for 6 hours every night. That might be a problem. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so what habits held you back? And where did I spend most of my time and energy?
Mm.
Yeah, where focus goes, energy flows, right? And I love that saying. And I think it is so absolutely true. So just think about, where did you spend your time and energy? And
Yeah.
then what relationships had the biggest impact on you?
Yeah. Both positive and negative. There's some people that you
You
probably
bet.
want to spend a little more time around, and some people you want to spend a little less time around this coming year. Yeah. Let's talk about
Yeah,
planning forward now. So we want to, really plan, so we go through this plan to review situation where what are the results I want to achieve? And we all get into this bad habit. Cheryl and I will be the first ones to admit, what do we got to do today? That's not the question to ask. It's what results do we want to produce? Never ask. The worst question you can possibly ask yourself is, what should I do today? That's not the question you want to ask. It's, what are the results I want to achieve? When you're results orientated, and that's what this community is all about, is results orientated. So what are the results we want to achieve this year? And go through all 8 areas, and the result I want to achieve in this area is this. And again, this is what we're going to do in the course. This is the whole Elevate Your Life course, where we go through every area and we really help you come up with the result for each of these areas, a specific result. Then you got to go through and say, well, why in the world do I want that result? If your purpose is powerful enough, the price doesn't matter. But so many times we don't have the purpose down. Why are we doing this? If your why is not big enough, you will not do it. Period. The end.
right.
But again, if the purpose is powerful enough, the price will not matter. You'll do what it takes to achieve that thing. And then, of course, you still need a map. We still got to have a strategy. It's not the most important thing, but let me tell you, the strategy can either make you or break you too. So we want to make sure that's right, but we can always make adjustments to the strategy and the map as long as the results are clear and the purpose is strong. But
Yeah.
Cheryl, what I really love about Elevate Your Life, this whole thing, is that we're going to do this together. It's the community.
Yeah. I like that so much better than being by yourself and on your own.
Yeah. So we're going to
So
be here to help you all year long. We're going to be here, Cheryl and I, to help you through this all, and we're going to be here every week with a new podcast, and we're available for you to, and the whole community is we're all doing the same exact thing. We're all moving forward and just trying to elevate our lives. So, but it comes down to the weekly review, it's just now we do this yearly review, but then we got to give ourselves 7 days. We're going to do it. Then we're going to review. Hey, what went well, what didn't go so well, what we're going to change. You keep on doing that 52 weeks in a row, you could accomplish literally anything in 2025. But you got to stick to this system. This system is foolproof as long as you follow it.
Yeah, I love that, Paul. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, it has been so much fun today. It's been such a pleasure spending time with all of you. Please stay committed and stay consistent. And remember, you have the power to elevate your life and the lives of those around you. We can't wait to